So almost a week ago I made a tier list video of all the maps in BTD6 and I also asked you to vote on your top 5 favorite and top 5 worst maps in the game. In this video we're looking at the results and also talking about what makes a map good or bad, since I ran out of time to talk about all the things I wanted to in the tier list video. So let's get started going over the top 5 best maps according to you, the viewers. At number 5 we have Dark Castle, and this was the highest ranking expert map on the list, with my personal favorite Infernal in close second. I can understand why this map ranks so high. I personally gave it an A tier for a short and simple track design and cool surroundings. At number 4 we have Logs. This map ranking high is no surprise, since it's very beginner friendly and often used for testing, so it's one of the most played maps in the game. You can really play around and have fun with this one without worrying too much about losing. Next up at number 3 is Resort, and this is like a more colorful version of Logs in my eyes. The map is often played for the same reasons as Logs, but the visual design is more appreciated by most people. Definitely one of the best easy map designs. At second place is Cubism, and I'm starting to notice a pattern here. This map is like another version of Resort, but with even more colors. As mentioned in the tier list video, I expected easy maps to have an advantage in this poll due to the fact that not only are they more fun in a lot of people's eyes, but also it can be hard to design a map that is difficult and also enjoyable, as I will discuss soon. But first, at the number 1 spot we have my favorite map, Cornfield. This map is modular. You can choose to allow towers in whichever area you like, and this allows you to create some awesome challenges. Perhaps I somewhat influenced the results by ranking this map as the best one, but I mean, I am objectively correct, right? So now I would like to share with you my list of criteria of what makes a map good. They are split into 4 main categories with a few sub-criterias. First of all, we have good visual design. The visuals cannot be too cluttering, making it hard to see where the bloons are or where you can place towers. An example of a map that is pretty on the line of becoming too cluttered is High Finance. Next, the design should be beautiful to look at and place you in a setting that makes you wonder about the location. Some good examples of this are Infernal and Geared. Also, there should be a clear separation of areas on the map. For example, on Dark Castle, the area on top of the castle is clearly a different area than the one below. This is clear because of 2 reasons. First of all, the visual reason. I mean, it's a freaking castle. Secondly, because there is height to the structure, and in fact, the area on top of the castle can be divided into 2 separate areas because of this. The reason it's really important to separate areas is because it's really encouraging to players to make fun challenges where, for example, you're only allowed to use one specific area. And this makes the map replayable and thus will have a longer lifetime before getting boring. So that was the visual design, now onto the track route. First of all, tracks overlapping is often a good thing, but if that hinders you from being able to see if you're about to lose or not, it can instead act as a negative. The best example of this is Quad, because the track ends very soon after the tracks overlap. Next up, the track route should be simple. Having multiple tracks is good, especially for expert maps, but maps that manage to incorporate multiple tracks and still keep it simple are often the most enjoyable. Take Infernal or Dark Castle versus Dark Dungeons, for example. Next, straight lines and loops makes many towers satisfying to use, and that is a big part of what makes this game so enjoyable. Also, maps like Balance is perfect for things like the Apex Plasma Master, and maps with corners are often good for towers with seeking projectiles like the Ninja or the Top Path Boomerang. In short, maps should be designed to make the use of certain towers really fun, and of course this needs to be adjusted for difficulty. The higher the difficulty of the map, the harder this becomes to incorporate, and that's okay. The next category is functions and interactions. Removable objects is good, with Cornfield being the number 1 example, since the removable objects allows for a lot of fun challenges. Other interactions can also be a lot of fun, like the idea Covered Garden had, with a portion of the map being inaccessible at times. As mentioned in the last video, the map did not live up to that idea, but I feel like the basic idea was good. Also, Easter eggs are cool, but I feel like we need Easter eggs that really gives you a reward. For example, an area of the map starts giving buffs or some obstacle disappears. And Easter eggs doesn't only need to be click here and then click here to unlock the Easter egg, but instead perhaps we have to pop a certain amount of balloons in a particular area as one step, and that would be an area that would be hard relative to the track. I feel like there's a lot of potential for Easter eggs in this game. The last category is placeable towers and sight blockers. The presence of both land and water is fun in most cases, so that you can use a good mix of strategies, but also there needs to be exceptions. Maps where there is no or next to no land or no water is also good. Next, it's fun when there is hidden spots where there's just enough room to fit a certain tower, and also areas that are sized so that you could just barely fit X amount of towers if you really try hard is also cool and adds an element of skill and knowledge to the map. Lastly, the number of sight blockers should be kept low to not feel annoying. Larger and fewer sight blockers may be less irritating. An example of too many sight blockers being a bit annoying rather than fun and challenging is Workshop. So that was my thoughts on what makes a map good, but now let's look at some maps that are not so good. It's time for the top 5 worst maps in BTD6. At the number 5 spot we have Quad with the most annoying overlapping. This map is the worst ranking expert map in the game, with Ravine and Workshop close behind. At the number 4 spot we have Pat's Pond. This map is one of those forgotten ones that never really gets played at all, but according to you, it can get even worse. At the number 3 spot we have X Factor, another very disliked map. And in second place we have Bazaar, a map that is very unsatisfying to play. And at the number 1 spot, taking the place for the worst map in the game, we have Bloonarius Prime. This map's track design is also not very satisfying, and in terms of the visual design, you can tell what the designers were going for, but it just doesn't work very well in my opinion. As a side note, a little fact about this map is that balloons take the right track through the swamp hole on rounds that are prime numbers, something that I wasn't aware of until recently, even though I've played this game for a while. And that says something about the lack of interest for this map. But let's not forget that everyone enjoys different things, and looking at the results from the poll, there's not a single map in the game that isn't on someone's top 5 or worst 5 list, and thus every map in the game has made some part of the Bloons community very happy. And also, designing good maps is hard. I was going to design a map myself to include in this video, but it was not easy. I ended up scrapping it because I didn't want to spend too much time making the graphics of the map look good, so I quit after designing the basic track route. If you want to see the results of the entire polls, I'll leave them in the description below, and they will continue to be open for voting, so if you have not voted already, you can still do that if you want to. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you in my next video.